Hello everyone and welcome to this video. Now today I'm going to be doing an album review, going to be looking at Paul Simon's album from 1999, The Rhythm of the Saints. This album was Paul Simon's 7th solo effort after the breakup of Simon and Garfunkel, released in October 1990. After the huge success of the album before this, which was Graceland, Paul Simon continued that album's formula of combining different world music. Like on Graceland, he went to South Africa to record. On this album, he took his inspiration from Latin American and Brazilian rhythms. In addition to musicians from Brazil, he also used people who had played on the album Graceland, and also some people from his 70s work as well appear on this album. To promote the album, Paul Simon went on a world tour and performed at New York Central Park, or it's documented on this live CD. You can also get it on vinyl, but I haven't got it yet. Paul Simon's concert in the park. Reportedly 100,000 people showed up to see Paul Simon play in Central Park in 1990 to promote this album. But notable, he had performed there 10 years before with Art Garfunkel, so he was returning solo, and he'd done a great show in Central Park. The album was commercially successful, reaching number 4 in America and number 1 in the UK. It was Paul Simon's last major hit album, both in Britain and America. So before I show you the vinyl here, I'm just going to go through this CD here. This is included in the CD box set, and we get a couple of bonus tracks with this CD here. So I just refer to the little book you get over here. So we get demos of Born at the Right Time, The Coast, and Spirit Voices with the CD, and also a unreleased song called Thelma, which is okay. It doesn't. I don't think had it been included on the album, it wouldn't have made it any better. But similarly, it wouldn't have made it much worse. I'm just going to show you the vinyl here. Just take it out here. Not a big fan of the album cover myself, but it sort of fits in with the theme. You sort of get a feel of the record from the album cover. And then the inner sleeve is very plain, very boring, and then just the lyrics, and then the actual vinyl is here. Notable with this album, the original running order, or Paul Simon's preferred running order, was changed by the record company. They wanted to open with the song "The Obvious Child," which was the hit single, and then they mucked about with some other songs on the album as well as they came in the running order. I'm now going to go over all of the album songs. Well, I'm accustomed to a smooth ride. Oh, maybe I'm a dog who's lost. The first track up is called "The Obvious Child," and this is a 10 out of 10 for me. A really, really great, fun song. I love the start. It's a great way to start the album with them really big sounding Brazilian drums, what were recorded live in a public square, actually in Brazil. I'm not too sure what water the name of the place where they recorded it, but it was recorded live just out in the street, what I thought was really cool. Lyrics just from there a great, actually, concerning the fear of aging and growing old and maturing. And this was the lead single from the album, reached number 15 in the UK and number 12 in the Netherlands, but it didn't do too great in America, I don't think, this single. I can't run, but I can walk much faster than this. Can't run, but the song up is called "Can't Run But," giving this a 7 out of 10. Album takes an interesting turn for the second track. It gets a bit more dark, a bit more mysterious. You sort of got I think it's a xylophone or something playing it. It sounds quite mysterious in many ways. I can do like this song, but for me it just doesn't really go anywhere too interesting. The lyrics on this one are interesting, sort of talking about the environment and pollution on this song, and more current affairs, what's happening in the news and that. This is the only line. Track 3 is called "The Coast," and this is one of my personal favourites from the album, giving it a 9 out of 10. A lovely, relaxing song, really, really, really lovely guitar work. I believe the guitarist he uses on this song here is called Vincent Nugini, and he still plays with Paul Simon now. Like, he's still in like his touring band, and like he's a really great guitarist. Like, really like adds like something to like this album, like his guitar work. I love the arrangement of this song here. Like, you've got like very subtle horns and like backing vocals, just really like to serve the song and like nothing else. What I really love. Lyrics of this are sort of like it's like it's sort of like abstract in like many ways, but like the gist what I get from this is like sort of like a family pilgrimage, like they're going somewhere. Sort of similar theme to Graceland and like Hearts and Bones, but just sort of tackled in like a slightly different way. But like I really love this song.
Some people gonna call you up, tell you something that you already know.
Fourth track up is called Proof. And this is a great, fun little track actually, quite upbeat, quite like light-hearted and like quite fun. But like the lyrics also though are like have like a bit more meaning to them, sort of like so like talking about like the flaws of like religion. Like he says like proof is the bottom line for everyone. This was the follow-up single to The Obvious Child, but it wasn't a big hit. Like I believe it was like a flop pretty much everywhere. And like, yeah, I suppose like they maybe could have chosen like another hit single, but I do like understand like why they picked this one to follow up The Obvious Child, because it's very fun, very happy, and like very light-hearted song, which I I like enjoy this track.
Sometime I'll be walking down the street and I'll be thinking, am I crazy or is there some more?
Right, closer to side one now. There's only 5 songs on each side here. A is called a song called Further to Fly. And I'm not personally that huge of this song, that's why I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It's sort of average for this album. It's quite nice. I mean, like in terms of like it's like quite like a relaxing and like quite a slow song here, like very like atmospheric. But like, for me, like it's like the lyrics aren't too great on like the song. Like it's sort of like it seems like it's like random phrases sort of like stitched together to like make a song, which is sort of like the gist what like you sort of get from like, this album here. Like there's there's like some nice lyrics in it, but it's quite like hard to follow. Like it doesn't tell like a sort of like a linear narrative. It's very like abstract imagery in like many of like the places, which works fine on some songs, but for me this one just like doesn't work and like kind of like meanders on like a little bit too long. I believe this is the longest song from the album, clocking in at about 6 minutes long, which is far too long. Could have like cut it down to 3 minutes, and like I probably would have been giving it like about like a 7 out of 10. But it's just like the length where I have to mark it down for. So now the opener to side 2 is a song called She Moves On. Give this a 7 out of 10. It's a nice song and that, but it's kind of just like average for me. Lyrics though is probably like the only song like on the album like what you can describe as like a love song or like a ballad or stuff like that. Like it's like it's nice, but it's like more of like the same old sort of stuff that we've heard on like the first album, and the first side doesn't really like offer like anything like new to the table really.
Never been lonely, never been lied to, never had.
Now on to a song called Born at the Right Time. Give this a 9 out of 10. I really like the song actually. It's like got a great sort of catchy chorus on it, and like easily the most accessible song like on the album. Like I'm surprised that this wasn't like the follow-up single. Like it was actually, I think, the 3rd single released I think in like 1991, but by that point interest had like passed like for this album, and like I don't think that the single charted anywhere. But it could have been a big hit, like actually, like had it been maybe like the 2nd song released, because it's a very sort of like catchy song, got like some great lyrics in it, and like certainly for me it is like the song what sounds most like the Graceland album.
I believe in the future.
So normally on albums, the 3rd track on side 2 would normally be like a place for like filler material, but on this album it is the complete opposite of that. I have my personal favourite from the album, a song called The Cool Cool River. This song did take a while to grow on me. It wasn't one of the songs that like I instantly loved, like The Obvious Child or Born at the Right Time. I did have to give it time to like fully grow on me. But once I did, it is absolutely amazing. The lyrics on this are like some of his absolute best. Yes, they are like quite abstract, but like they're full of like imagery and like really fantastic lyrics on this. And like also like it's got like really like an interesting musical track as well. Like I believe it's in like a 9/8 time signature, which like really gives it like a really like interesting rhythm. And and like also like a sense of movement as well. Like it seems like we actually are like on like a boat in like in the Cuckoo River, like in like a rainforest or something. Really great song. When I saw him in April, he sang this song and like it was absolutely fantastic. So like yeah, Cuckoo River, my favourite from the album. And then for me, the last two tracks are like a little bit like of a letdown. First one is called Spirit Voices, which I've given a 6 out of 10 to. It's a nice enough song, but it's very similar to like the rest of the album. It's nothing what we've not like heard before. Very similar sound and style to like to all like the other songs. A little bit forgettable, but it's okay. And then the closing song is called Rhythm of the Saints. That's the title track. And again, this is another 6 out of 10. For me, it's very similar to stuff like Spirit Voices and She Moves On and like Further to Fly. Nothing what we haven't heard before from this album. Like overall, like it's a little bit like of like a letdown for like the title song. Like this was like I think this was the last song that I heard like from the album, and like it was like a little bit like of like a letdown. Like I was expecting it to be like quite like a good, decent track for like the title song, but it was only like average for me. So overall, it would be a score of 78% for this album, which means like a great album actually. Does have a lot of fantastic tracks in it, but like maybe like a couple too many filler songs, what like prevents it becoming like a really fantastic album. For me, this sits around the middle of Paul Simon's discography. Certainly, I prefer albums like Graceland, Hearts and Bones, There Goes Rhyming Simon, and like even like maybe some of like some more recent ones like Surprise. I think is like even better than this. But like, for me, this is better than The Cape Man, One Trick Pony, Still Crazy After All These Years, and like a lot of like his other slightly lesser albums. Compared with Graceland, this is a much more slower and like relaxing listen, whereas Graceland was like full of energy and like a lot of like poppy commercial songs in it. This is maybe a little bit more serious like as an album, but like it's not as, for me it's not as like enjoyable or like as accessible as Graceland was. It also certainly lacks the wide variety like of the Graceland album. Whereas on that album, like he was using lots of different bands from like South Africa. Like he would like do like each song like with like a different group. On here, like he like pretty much used like the same sort of group of like Brazilian musicians, along with like a couple of like other like guest stars on it as well. This album did take a while to grow on me, because I wasn't like an instant fan of it. Like I had to like take time to like properly like enjoy and like appreciate like most like the stuff of it. So it made like this album might continue to grow on me, and like it might become like one of my absolute favourite Paul Simon albums. But for the time being, it just sits around the middle of his discography for me. So I hope you have enjoyed this review. Please leave what you think of this album down below in the comments if you have heard it. I'd be interested to hear what you think, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.